signed form, and you will find the pictorials of the project and status site status report. So we confirm that those documents are in place.
Chair.
Yes,
because we want to go very quickly. One, in my bundle of documents, I do not have that contract agreement. In my bundle of documents, there is only a picture of the project and site status report. And also number two, I do not think the picture that has been put there can be of really any help because it has been poorly taken. And I know the Auditor General knows that photos are poorly taken not because they are not good cameras. If I opened the page of, I had the Director of Press is here. If I opened the page of the Governor of Kajiado, you get very nice photos. But the photos that you supplied to the Senate are not visible. It cannot be, of course, it is always by design. So we are not able to tell anything much from that photo. But most importantly, I don't have.
Yeah, Governor.
The photo that you have and the photo that I have are two different things.
Governor.
There we have the agreement with us here.
Order, Governor. Before we get into the photos, the audit query is that the contract was not provided at the time of audit. Was the contract in existence at the time of audit? That is the question. Number two, that as at November 11th, 2021, there was a physical inspection carried out and that revealed that the classrooms had not been constructed and you had already paid, once again, 1.3 out of the 2.9. Based on what? What was the basis for that payment? If as at the point of the verification, inspection, there was no classroom built. Is it the same clerk of works, the famous clerk of works for Kajiado County, had certified that work has been done up to, this is almost 45%?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, Chair. With your permission, allow me to ask Lekina to support this. Though I just want to confirm, Chair, that we actually had the contract at the time of audit. We don't know.
So why was it not provided?
You know, that's a big concern. But you're saying something, Lekina, about the officers.
Thank you, sir. Apologies for the mix-up, but we do have the contract, the agreement, as the Governor has stated, and also the pictures. Pictures vary because they've been taken by different officers. I do not know what you have in place, but what we have is a colored photo of different. Okay, sorry about that mix-up, and this will be resubmitted to you for verification. Number two, about the said officers, Chair. These officers have since been, administrative action has been taken, and they were stopped from issuing such reports. The procedure is we have field officers, then these field officers report to the headquarter officers, and the headquarter officers now the director before it reaches the chief officers level. So the field officers that were in charge of education and that of also health, the Motoriki project, have since been stopped.
What are their names?
We have, one is Daniel, the other one is David.
Maybe from Lekina, so that I don't lose that trail of thought. Is there anything that you get from the HR manual that allows you to stop anybody? Because you can only interdict or sack. There's nothing like stopping.
You're stopping from executing the works of inspection, not because stopping works. That is something different.
I mean, that is the disciplinary action that has been taken. Because you've done wrong, you are told stop doing that wrong.
Yes,
you are not culpable of the wrong that you have already done. Because I put it to you, Lekina, that you have been paying projects that have not been undertaken. This is the second one that we are dealing with. So, I mean, administrative action should be on the actions that you've done. That you have issued certificates, and upon these certificates, the chief officer has paid money to contractors. Upon physical verification, the projects are not either at the status that you said, or they have not been undertaken at all. So you cannot give the committee the comfort that you just stopped them and no action has been taken for their misactions, which was leading to defrauding of the county.
Yeah, Governor, the difficulty we will have as a committee, you would have to show me the employment letters of these gentlemen so that I see what their roles are. And if you have just stopped one role of inspection of construction sites, what are they still doing for the county? That is the difficulty we will run into. And administrative action that is corrective should be, proper. It cannot be half-baked. Because what is to say that the remaining roles that they have been assigned are being conducted properly? The document that you have placed before us, Lekina, the contract itself, provides for payments. Payments shall be done as per the works performed. So when somebody is paying almost 45% of the contract value and there is nothing that has happened on the ground, that is not somebody who you just tell, okay, now you cannot, you are no longer allowed to go and certify projects. That's somebody you fire. That is somebody that should be facing prosecution for fraud, for defrauding the county. Yeah, this is an obvious case of collusion between the inspector and the person who's supposed to be inspected. It is very obvious to facilitate payment of projects to contractors when they have done nothing. So, Governor, that is very unsatisfactory for us. Before we even begin the conversation on why is the county government tendering to build classrooms? Why are you tendering to build classrooms in public schools? That's a conversation we have had. Is this also another community-driven procurement?
I think, Chair, we must have mixed up something about community and my saying citizen participation. The earlier citizen participation about Changombe was on ECD, not on primary. I think we got it wrongly.
Yes, so this one is for primary. But for this,
yes, we have a number of, and we had accepted earlier on that it is not right, but we have done some classrooms for schools out of desperation and as guided earlier on out of our mandate. I think now we have had that conversation. I think the thing to do now that despite the concurrence, the request by ministry through communities, we have agreed that it is not the right thing to do. I think that is what you indicated, that is not in the list of options.
Yes.
You know, when you gave us the Nyandarua situation, the university is not an option. Since we had taken this as part of our option list, and it is something that has happened wrongfully, I think going forward is to ensure that we don't get there again.
So the comfort would be, is there anything of that sort in your budget line for this financial year? Because if you are budgeted for, then it means that you shall expend more money.
I think we have never had a comprehensive conversation on this front as we have done today. And every time we have such conversations, not only do they enrich our work, but they also guide going forward. So I think this provides wonderful guidance.
Yeah, Governor, I have not answered the question.
it's not
current budget. In the current budget, are you still
2024-2025? In your budget, is there anything that you shall build from the national government?
I will absolutely not be surprised to find something. But remember the comments of our senator that we'll go back to our budget, see what is there wrongfully. In fact, we are even doing our supplementary. It might be an opportunity to do the correction. I'm surprised Senator Methu is laughing.
I think that is something that we can follow up, and I'm intending to make a visit to their county assembly, where they do have, sometimes they also contribute to these problems, because they're the ones also who brings all these kind of demands to the county executive. So probably we will also put some pressure on it so that they don't give projects that does not belong to counties or to the county government, so that at least the county governor can get more pressure, less pressure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The same issue arose at Olorien Secondary School, Kajiado East Sub-County, where you are building an administration block, Governor. And then you are building staff houses at Kikayaya Primary School. It's an abandoned project. Then you are constructing pit latrines at Kitengela Primary School.
Maybe, Chair, if you allow me just 1 minute to just go back to this particular Utumishi primary that we are living. Now that the county has made an admission that this payment was not done properly, that's why the officers have been stopped. Then I would indulge you, Honorable Chair, that the response that has been given by the county should be expunged from our records. It cannot stand any test of time because it goes from against what they have already admitted. From their response, looks like they say that everything ran right. From what they have said already, they agree actually with the Auditor General.
I think, Chair, let us use the written submission. I know what the Chief Officer have said about the stopped officers and all that, but that is really neither here nor there. I think what we will go by is what we submitted in writing, because it was a collective agreed position. And to the best of our ability, we were answering the questions of a missing contract, missing documentations. And so it is really what we wish to keep to this record.
No, that is way off the point, Governor. The question is an amount of 1.3 was paid, and upon physical verification on 11th of November 2021, the classroom was not in existence. So if what you said as your management response stands, then between either you and the Auditor General, one of you will be wrong. And in this case, your officer has confirmed that you are wrong. We are just trying to make it better for you, so that you're able to move forward.
Order, Governor, and also remember that the evidence you are giving here is sworn testimony. So everything that is coming through from that side is not something you can run away from after it has been said. The truth of the matter is that there's a problem with whoever was in charge of certifying works. We have established it over a number of projects. What we need to hear from you is a corrective, administrative, and other action that has been taken against these people who are giving Kajiado a bad name before the auditors. So don't run away from anything that you have said. I will not allow you to run away anyway. So it is already on record.
And there's no point actually, Governor, of being defensive, because these are very straightforward. Because if you are defensive, if your regional response stands, you'll be saying that that classroom was in existence on that particular day. And we have been able to establish, because it is not one issue. So it's not one project, it's not one issue. So, I mean, we are just giving you a way of going home and ensuring that you're able to straighten up this path without necessarily in a back and forth that will not be helpful.
Yeah, so members, we are running very late. Governor, I want your specific responses to the subsequent projects. We will not go into whether you were supposed to tender or not. We have established that those were not your functions to tender in the first place. At least for this school, you have told us the classrooms were built. I want to hear on the administration block at Olorien Secondary. What is the current status?
I confirm, Chairman, that the project in Olorien Secondary School is now complete and in use.
Okay. What about Kibini Primary School? There was a query on poor workmanship. If I'm to read for you, physical verification confirmed poor workmanship as evidenced by the floor that had cracks, had peeled off, and had developed shallow potholes, making it difficult to clean. It was also noted that the contractor had not been informed of the poor state of workmanship and no remedial action appears to have been taken. What is the current situation on the ground?
Chair, at the time of inspection, it was still within the contractual period, and therefore the contractor made good of the mistakes there, and therefore now the project is complete and in use.
Auditor General, have you been able to see this physically? That is a query at page 13 of your report.
Yes, Chairman.
You have seen it?
We have seen it.
Remedial action has been taken?
Yes.
Very well. Number 16, construction of staff houses at Kikayaya Primary School.
Next page 29.
Verification conducted on November 2021 revealed that works including drainage, plumbing works, bathrooms, toilets, taps, showers and electrical works had not been done. Further, the audit confirmed that the project was 40% complete, yet the contractor had been fully paid and was not on site. Kikayaya Primary, contractor fully paid, works only 40% complete, electrical works, plumbing works, bathrooms, toilets not done.
Chair, there was a problem of BQs to start with, and it is the problem of the bill of quantities that occasioned that. That project, out of those gaps in the BQs, the project can be considered to be partially complete, but we will make good the gaps that are occasioned by the bill of quantities to ensure that they get properly complete, but now it is partially complete.
How does a BQ not capture floor slab in a building?
Unbelievable. Those are the questions we're asking, and that is why we noted it was not in the BQs. As ridiculous as it sounds, it was not there. And the need for administrative action was identified as a gap that will be undertaken.
Who did the BQs, Governor?
Normally, BQs for public works projects are done by the Public Works Department.
So in your response, you're telling us that the provision for the plumbing works, you say the project is partially complete without plumbing works, that the provision for plumbing works was utilized in slab and maram that were not captured in the BQ. So you have a building that has provision for plumbing works but no floor, no slab.
That is what the BQs reflected, Mr. Chairman.
So what is the current status of this project, Governor?
The project is partially complete, but as I said, for the gaps that are occasioned by the initial error on the BQs will be factored to make sure that the project is properly
You have
complete.
provision for completion in the current budget?
Yes.
How much?
I don't know the figure. We can go back to it, but we know we have factored it as a serious anomaly.
So you had these are two bedroom staff houses, two bedroom staff houses at 5.3, which essentially puts each one at 2.6 million shillings. Would that be correct? And no provision for drainage, plumbing works, bathrooms, toilets, taps, showers, electrical works. None of those were provided for in that 2.6 million shillings. Governor, there's a problem there. Yeah, so you tell us what you have done so far, because this is a matter that is in the 2021 financial year. What have you done so far as an administration? And Auditor General, you should tell us if you have invited the ESCC to come and look at these projects. Have you?
Chairman, we do not have those powers. Maybe as a committee you can summon ESCC to look at those projects with the deficiencies.
Very well, Governor, this one we are going to recommend as a committee that the ESCC looks into the procurement from the beginning, from the people who generated the BQs to the contractors to the payments, everything.
Fair enough,
We
Chairman.
are referring those ones to the ESCC. Sergeant at Arms, please ask Senator Onyonka to take the call from outside. Let's come to stalled construction of pit latrines at Kitengela Primary School. The project implementation status report indicated that the project was 100% complete. Physical verification revealed that the project was only 50% complete. In addition, the contractor was not on site and the works had stalled. This is for 241,000. 241,000 had not been paid as a term of the audit. in November 2021. What is the status of this project, Governor?
Sure, this is an interesting one as well, because here is a situation where we awarded for the construction of a pit latrine to the school, and the school management wrote a letter, which we have attached a copy of the same, to have that project relocated to give way to a borehole. And therefore, this has been occasioned, the problem here has been occasioned in the change of use of the piece of the land in the school to a water project rather than a pit latrine. We wish to report that really this was occasioned by the school management. We have written evidence for the same, and therefore it is a school that changed course. So then that way we were unable to proceed with the project.
So what is then the status of the toilet?
As at the county, the time we left it was partially complete, then it was stopped and abandoned so that they give way to the water project.
So that we call it what now? Because it will not be complete because a borehole is being done next to the latrine.
That is what we call
Absolutely.
Money down the toilet.
Money down. In fact, money down the toilet.
Yes.
So what is the plan with that particular?
We think really the school administration should be held responsible for the same. We think remember.
What if we put it that you didn't do public participation?
Remember, for us to do the school toilet there,
yes,
it is the same school management that had made the request. The county will not go to a compound of a school and saying we are putting a toilet there. The county, at its best, will be to give the school a project and let the school designate the place for the project. Mm-hmm. And so once the county have done that bit, and the school put in writing that we have demolished the college for the toilet for this, we were equally offended.
Who's doing the borehole, Governor?
The school. It's not ourselves.
They are the ones who pointed out which corner they wanted the latrines.
Correct.
So who do we get this 241? How much money was paid, Auditor General? About 750.
Had paid 241.
A total of okay. 241.
That one it says had not been paid. So if you subtract 241 from 993, you should get 750.
600 and something.
750. So, Governor, your recommendation is that we get the 750,000 paid from Kitengela Primary School.
Chairman, we have indicated the chronology of this problem.
Yes.
That the school had requested for a toilet, which we gave them a contractor to do. Once the project had been done to some degree, the school comes with a water project and started to say, this is where we are putting the borehole, and put in writing their change of land use. And therefore, I want to submit that the county did its bit, but the school management did what they did.
Chair.
Yes, Senator Umtata.
Your Excellency, there are two things, because that money cannot just be lost. One, I wanted to inquire, because not all toilets have to sink into the ground. Not that they are putting a water point there, not that you're going to have water on the compound. Was it not possible to remodify the toilet and transport the waste material to a digester, so as not to lose all this money? Was it not possible, if I'm assuming you are doing a pit latrine, was it not possible to modify the project and transport the waste to a disposal point and safely, now that you had water available? And number two, what was the level of due diligence that the school had taken in? And did you maybe raise an objection to what they are trying to do, given you had committed so much money from the county's resources.
It is a concern we all do have, and the county did not have the window to object or to concur with. When the contractor was removed by the site by the same school management who designated the site for the same, we were equally in total disagreement that that was not in order. And therefore, we did not have a chance of saying how to manage the two projects of a borehole and a pit latrine, because once we gave the school the contractor, they designated the site, and then when midway they changed it and removed the contractor themselves and put it in writing, then we are all very concerned, and we probably should be thinking of what legal framework do we use to address the anomaly. Thank you.
Legal framework is Article 226 Clause 5, which empowers that fellow, whoever made the decision that resulted in the loss of that money, to make good the loss. And I think, Chair, we should recommend some action.
I agree with you, Senator Mtata. Yes, Senator Medu.
It then takes us to the question of taking functions of the national government which are not even welcome, because it looks like the priority of the school was water that time. And water is what should be provided by the county. But I actually have read the letter from the school, and I do not think there's so much cure to that particular project. Maybe it does not look like even the school itself had an objection of the toilet being made. It is a later advice from a water expert that that project cannot, those two projects cannot be together. So I do not know then what will be the recourse, because it looks like nothing can be done to salvage the situation.
Thank you, Governor. We and the auditors, we are going to have to make a decision on all these projects. I want to hear the governor on the land for Kiangombe. Then I propose that all the other projects, because there are quite a number, including the incomplete education projects, we crystallize all the issues around the projects and we take the governor's responses. We will isolate them during report writing so that we make clear recommendations on the way forward. For those that we have already pronounced should be investigated by EACC, nothing stops the committee from proceeding to write to the EACC immediately, and we have identified those ones, and then the others we will also be giving recommendations during report writing. In the interest of time, Governor, we want to take issue number 19 on the irregularities in purchase of a land for Kiangombe ECD. The auditor had touched on it. So the query here is that a review of records revealed various inconsistencies, including the fact that the valuation of the land was carried out on November 2020, 6 months after the award of the tender on 23rd June 2020. You award the tender after, or you award the tender before valuation. The audit also noted that the professional opinion was done on 16th June 2021, about 12 months after award of tender. It was observed that the county valuer returned a value of 44,900,000, but management paid 45,500,000. It was further noted that the land had been subdivided into 23 parcels of various sizes. However, the title deeds for the 22 parcels were not provided for audit review. Physical verification carried out on 12th November 2021 revealed that the land is only 16 meters from the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway, which is less than the 30 meters of railway reserve requirements stipulated in Section 64(2) of the Survey Act, please don't tell us that the railway found you there. Governor,
I
you
think-
read your response,
Yeah.
then you can see all the issues that have been pointed out, and we want you to respond to each of those specific issues.
It is well, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
And as I read my report,
The response is at which page?
Sorry, is page 31. Page 31.
Yes. Proceed.
Yeah, the management invited interested individuals and firms to express their interest in disposing of their parcels of land through a newspaper advert, which we can make it available. Only one person submitted application for disposing of his parcel of land. The person quoted a price of 1,750,000 for 0.045 hectares. Attached are the copies of these title deeds for the parcels. Management engaged a government valuer to value the parcels of land for payment purposes to determine its market value and not for award. I think that is important for us to understand where that valuation was coming from. It is not for award of tenders, it was just to know what is the market value. Management wishes to clarify that there was an error of omission when preparing the professional opinion as the professional opinion was dated 16th June 2020 and not 16th January 2021. Procurement proceedings and title deeds are attached for your reference. The land is 30 meters away from the railway line. And Chairman, we have mutation for that. So the allegation that the 16 meters is incorrect. Chairman, we have attached documents to confirm our position, that copies of mutation for the map. This will tell you how far we are from the railway line. Copies of title deeds, which were said were not there. We have made attachment for the same. However, you will notice the title deeds are now being amalgamated, but we have now the many small pieces of title just to confirm that. We have also attached in the appendix the professional opinion and the advert. And we have given payment certificates to indicate how the payments were made lawfully, and the valuation report for the same. So, Chairman, we want to report that we are not in breach of the law with regard to our distance from the railway line. It cannot be that the railway line found us there. Actually, we found the railway line ourselves there. And we also want to confirm that copies of the titles are attached. And so the project is in compliance with the law. Thank you.
Auditor General, have you seen these documents? Have you heard that explanation from the county government?
Chairman, yes, we have had the same explanation, and we have seen copies of 20 title deeds.
Yes.
So there are only 3 which are left.
You have identified for them the ones that are not been provided. Governor, you are clear on the 3 that have not been provided? Are you aware that there are 3 that have not been provided?
I think the attachments we have made are 22 out of 23, so we think there is 1 that we will get it. These documents are now, or these titles are now undergoing amalgamation so that they become one title deed, and therefore, Chairman, this thing is getting complete by the day.
Auditor General, where did you get this distance of the distance between this parcel of land and the railway? So we want to know who to believe, or unless you want the committee to go there with a tape measure. Who is telling the truth?
Chairman, I think we still stand guided on this particular matter, because the governor has clearly indicated that they have mutations in support of the fact that it's more than 30 meters from the railway line, unless another body comes and validates the same.
For the record, your verification was a physical verification.
Yes, physical.
Which means what?
Maybe so wrong.
Maybe we are not professionals in that line, Chairman.
Just tell me what it entailed. Ulipima na macho ama ulipima na nini?
Maybe Mugu. But I think it was an estimate. An estimate, Chairman. So we stand guided.
Governor, how have you addressed the question of the valuation being carried out after the award of the tender? And how do we believe that this professional opinion was dated wrongly and inadvertently?
Yes, Lekina, go ahead. May I ask my officer to
Yes.
comment?
Thank you, sir. As stated in the statement of response, the first action was an expression of interest that was published in the dailies, which we have attached, Chairman, as evidence. Firstly was to look for the land. You cannot go value what you do not even know what you're valuing. I think that was stated earlier by one of the committee members, Senator. And after we received the bids, before payment was done, it was just due diligence to be done to see that what has been quoted, is it within the market value? And after the report got back, it was seen that it was within the range. So the valuation was done to confirm the value that was quoted by the proposed seller or the then seller of the land.
Auditor, your query was on a difference of how much? About 600,000. Are you saying it is it's not within the range of evaluation report? Does it have to be precise?
No, Chair. There is a percentage range and 600. It is not far from the deviation. It has not deviated a lot. It's within the range, Chair.
Very well. So is there any action that you wanted us to take on this? Anything you wanted us to note as a committee?
Probably the issue of the remaining titles, so that at least we have a full ownership.
Governor, how long will it take to provide the remaining title deeds?
It is very likely, Chairman, we will now have one amalgamated title, but
Yes.
we should, from the evidence of the amalgamated title, be able to generate the remaining one or two.
Yeah.
And therefore, possibly we should say 2 weeks, we make the copies available to the Auditor General's office. But in the subsequent then conversation, we will be talking about one amalgamated title.
Okay. George, is it in our place to engage a surveyor to get the actual distance between this property and the railway line so that we know who's telling the truth?
Yes, Chairman, we can do it as a committee.
Very well. So we will establish the distance from this railway line to the property so that we know who's telling the truth and who's not. Governor, you know the implications of being within railway land. There will be too many problems for you emerging if it is found that the land actually was not available for purchase. Yeah. So it is so directed. Members, Senator Sek, I hope you are still with us. Yes.
Somehow lost, but we'll catch up.
Let's see if there is any other issue, Auditor, that you wanted us to touch on. The projects, we have made a direction on the projects. So the borehole at Ololopon, erection of a mini petrol station at AMS Kitengela, those ones will be dealt with as one. So let's see something that is not project related that we wanted to deal with. Yes, Auditor?
There was a market, Chair.
You don't want us to deal with those as projects? What?
The Ongatorongai market.
Kwale market.
Kware. Okay, let's see. Which page is that?
Page 10.
Yes, page 10. Governor, you are queried for the stalled construction of Kware market. An inspection exercise carried on 15th November revealed that only part of the substructure works had been done and no other works were ongoing and the contractor was not on site. Further supporting documents for the project were not provided. It is also noted that some parts of the substructure were already being vandalized and the project had stalled. Management did not provide an explanation as to why the contractor was paid in full before completing the works. So an amount of 12,540,000 was paid to the contractor in the year under review, and the indication was the project was 100% complete. Governor, what is the status of Kware Market?
Let me, Chairman, indicate by just bringing clarity that Kware Market is on Ongata Rongai. The initial scope of the contract was to build the ground floor with a suspended slab of the market. During the site handing over, the traders requested for the change of design to accommodate the larger number of traders in the market area in Ongata Rongai town. The planned expansion for Kiserian Bomas Road by Kenha will displace 2,000 traders operating on the road reserve in Kware area in Ongata Rongai. The local leaders and traders petitioned management to change project design to accommodate the displaced traders and curb the possible land grabbing of the parcel of land set aside for the market. The completion of the project will be subjected to public participation in the next financial year. Let me, Chairman, I think an explanation would be easier so that we see where we are coming from. There are two things that are coming into play here. A big population of traders in Ongata Rongai and the removal of by Kenha of traders who are what is now called in Sokomjinga, traders along the road. Now we wanted to do a two-level market in a piece of land, and that's what we're talking about, suspended ceiling. When the Kenha team removed our traders, they said instead of you doing a suspended slab, you do a complete slab of the whole thing so that you are all coming to the ground rather than having people at the top and the money is not complete. We have a petition for the same by the traders. But now, when we did the slab over the entire space of land, and I wish maps, and although the maps are there to show what we are talking about, then Kenha did not begin the construction of the dual carriage between Ongata Rongai and Kiserian. So the traders again abandoned the slab we built in Kware and went back to the highway where they consider is more lucrative to access the traders. But to cut a long story short, Mr. Chairman, is that we were petitioning instead of doing a suspended slab, we do the slab there, which we did. The solution to this ultimately, because the conversation to redo again the dual carriage road is coming up, the solution is for us to allocate, which we will do in the next financial year, resources to complete the entire market. And therefore, the observation by the audit team was correct. It was occasioned by the petition by the traders. The change of design was to accommodate more traders. And the current state of abandonment is because the traders have gone back to the road, which is really a very temporary solution. That is our position, Mr. Chairman, and we have submitted for verification the request of change of design of the market from the user department. We now have a site inspection report, and we have minutes of the petition by the traders to do a ground slab that is double rather than going up, and we now have a complete project design for a complete quarry market. That is our position, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Meth.
Your Excellency, Governor, there is something in your explanation that have not addressed part of the query, but before then I would want to know what is the current status of Kware market today, how much has been done in as far as this project has been done.
Chair, there are two things here. The slab that was substituted by the suspended ceiling has been done and that has been completed. But now, this is the situation. The traders have abandoned the market site and went back to the road reserve, which we think is a temporary situation, because once can have begin to do their dueling of the road, as indications are, they will go back. So the foundation or the ground slab has been completed, but it's not in use. In fact, in some instances, people even dump takataka there.
So, in your opinion, in regards to the original design of the project that was supposed to be 29 million, how much of that work has been done? What percentage, if you had to quantify?
That work has been done in full, because now what has happened, Chairman?
So the original work that had been given for quarry has been done
It's
in
been
full.
completed,
That is
but
why
it's not a
payment
market.
certificate number 2 had been raised up to 100%.
Yes.
So have you paid the contractor the 29 million?
It's very likely. So that has been completed.
Okay.
Yes, it was completed. The original work has been
But it's
completed.
not in use,
but
of course, because there was...
It is not in
you
use
need to
because
redesign
traders
it.
prefer to be on the road. So the traders are on the road. Now what we are going to do in the next financial year is to do a complete market, a 2-level market, and now get the traders to get out there, and then we'll have a mechanism to enforce their stay to the market. But this will be solved if Kenya were to do the dual carriage and remove people from the road. It's a problem that most towns and the city senator can confirm that traders in cities always prefer to be on the road because that is where they find their customers easily.
Maybe Chair.
Let's hear Omtata, then we come to you as our host senator for today. You okay? Thank you, Senator Seki.
Chair, I wanted to ask the governor, how do you try to address the issue of vandalized of the markets? And again, where do we have the construction of this market by the national government now that they also have a budget on the same, on the quarry market? I don't know if you're in conversation with the ministry of is it housing or what? Yeah, so you better tell us so that we don't have duplication of projects.
Chair, we have a reversal of roles here. While the earlier accusation was the county doing the national government function, these guys want to do our markets. And we are actually happy ourselves if they are to do the market. Not because we are happy to give up our mandate. We are very jealous about our mandate and protective of the same. But our local traders are desperate for what to do the trading. Senator Seki Kajiado, this is part of the conversation we had the last time, or where the MP for Kajiado North made a pitch on Rabongoko to the president to do that market. So it is very likely that in the plan for the national government to do a market, we will have them complete the BQs of what we have decided now for the market. Because remember, it is very difficult to find land in Ongata Rongai, or what is now Kajiado municipality, which brings Ngong, part of Kiserian and Ongata Rongai together. And therefore, with the complete BQs all designed ready, it is a question of resources. Once a project is completed and in use, it is easy to protect it from being vandalized. Vandalized projects happen when projects are left hanging. Fortunately for this now, we don't have a big problem of vandalism because it is just the foundation slab that has been laid, and therefore there is very little to, or there is actually nothing to vandalize. What is there now is the misuse. Instead of it acting as a market, sometimes people use it as a dump site, and this can easily be cured once the market is constructed. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
Let's hear from our auditors.
Maybe just for
Senator, sorry.
just as a connection of the issue of markets, we have a market in Kitengela that the county has constructed and almost 90% complete. What is the action that you want to give this committee that you will also have to have a plan of opening that market, Governor?
Chair, as much as that question was not here, it is a genuine concern by the senator. We did a market in Kitengela about 2 years back, and we completed according to the BQs then. It is actually a 3 levels market. Once we completed the market and we wanted to put the traders, a complaint came about of the number of traders having far exceeded what the market could accommodate. In fact, for the counties that border Nairobi, the population growth is exponential because traders from north of Kajiado, parts of Machakos, and parts of Kiambu and Nairobi revolves or keep moving about seeking for opportunities within the metropolitan area. And that makes our traders' numbers sometimes very difficult to manage. So now, Senator Kajiado, what we are doing, these traders have said if you can put a slab on the entire compound, some people can put their wares outside and sell from outside. So we are waiting for the next financial year's budget so that we do the cabro works around the entire market in the area that has been put a perimeter wall. So that we'll be having some traders sell their wares outside the market, and we have a good number inside the market. So we are waiting to do that cabro works around the area with a perimeter wall, then we can now put the traders into the market. Thank you.
Thank you. Auditor General, do you have anything to say on this before we close?
We wish to concur with the governor that it is true the original plan was changed. Instead of doing shading for the traders, they did 2 foundations adjacent to each other and a half walling of the market, and the steel metals for the pillars have been fertilized. And unfortunately, one side of the one foundation is a huge heap of waste products. It's a dumping site.
Yeah, Governor, you have said Kenha should be the ones to relocate the traders, but enforcement is really your job as well. I have always asked myself what sort of public participation happens before these markets are built. Because it's not just in Kajiado. There's another Mjinga, a very famous one on the highway to Nakuru, just before the escarpment there in Kinungi. And the traders never actually settle into any of these markets. I have a few here on Outer Ring Road, not Outer Ring Road, what is it called? Kangundo Road Market, where we are facing similar challenges, Governor. Do you involve these traders when you ask them, are they only going to move into the market when the road is being done and they have no place to put in their wares, or is the market an actual market that works for these people? Why is it that people never move into these markets?
Chair, it's a very difficult situation with the traders, or sometimes many of them in formal business, trying to find a way to make a living. Many of these markets come about as a result of desperation and just people trying to hawk and waiting and see, and the numbers build up until it becomes a market, so to speak. And therefore, many of them have come about out of people looking for a way to earn a living. Many of them come to be in areas that they are not designated to be marketplaces. But along the way, because of the numbers building up and the very serious gaps in unemployment in our country, even the question of humanity comes in when you are trying to remove these people. And therefore, interestingly, they seem to find more opportunities when they are outside an informal market than when they are in a formal market. We did a 1 billion shilling market in Ngong together with the World Bank under the Kenya Urban Support Program. A wonderful market. Now the landmark in Ngong looking really nice, but traders prefer to sell outside, So it is a running battles every day, trying to keep them there. But I think it is a necessary problem that we must continue to confound until our people learn to work in decent and more formal setting than working in formal settings. Sometimes they prefer informal settings because they don't pay taxes, or they are easy to escape, or there are no serious obligations, and so that is what happens. I think it's a problem we must grapple with as leaders to see how to address the problems of unemployment, the problems of desperation in our urban spaces. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Senator Onyonka, you have something? We need to close this.
Sorry, Chair. I'll just make a comment. Your Excellency, the truth is those markets, yours in Kajiado, we saw one in Isiolo the other day, they were never constructed to accommodate the African mind. all those markets look like prisons. True? Would you want to go and sell things in a prison? All of them. And you know why? They were being inflated with BQs so that money is, you know these things in our country. A market just in Africa used to be open. Go and see the Kisumu one. People they are selling things at the Uhuru Garden markets and it's open. Nobody did a offer. People walk around. If a customer is seeing me as a seller and I'm selling that you and the eye contact is there, that's how we sell. So if you open up the place, guys will easily come from the road, the ones who want to buy, and walk in. But now, your people are going to be locked inside that beautiful market you talked about, but they're going to be on 4th floor. How do they remove the customer from ground floor to 4th floor?
I think there's a problem in terms of design, because many of our projects are procurement driven design.
Yes.
That is a problem, because they never ask these traders what they would want, and you would see a governor doing 4 floors of market. By the 2nd floor, nobody is going beyond that. So for you to convince a trader to come there is going to be tough.
Let me ask a question, if I may.
Let's hear from Senator, your namesake, and then we'll come to you, Governor.
Yeah, I think Chair, if we can really bring the concept where the Rwanda, when we visited Rwanda, Kigali, they have very good open air markets. Yes. And they're doing so well. I think you need to do the benchmarking on that end of that country. They have very nice markets, and having such a structure may not be of help at this time now. People want something, open air markets, but we are coming up with a bill, a street vendors bill, in my committee. Very soon we'll call the governors to come and participate as stakeholders, which will really help much of the problems of counties that the counties that are going through. Otherwise, I think we will share it. It will be in our 2nd reading coming next week.
Thank you, Senator. Governor, I don't know who you want to direct your question at.
Not really a question. It's just to add value to what Senator Onyonka have said, which makes a lot of sense. But we don't know why public markets do not function in that setting. Yet people who put up, malls, which are basically markets, they do very well. So we don't know why, because the Ngong one is basically a mall. It's a modern mall. It's a wonderful thing. If it were a private property, it will sell like a hotcake. But because it is a public thing, I don't know where that comes to force. But we also now are experiencing a new problem. Spaces in our urban areas are shrinking very fast. So there is no longer the luxury of free, wide space. When we were relocating people to get to the Ngong market, and we did a small makeshift market on the other, it was very nice. It was just stands, a roof, and people were enjoying it. They did not, it looked like preferred to the current market. But we must appreciate that with shrinking space, with changing in lifestyles, we probably need to look at what we think about public markets, because private malls are also markets. And yet they are very, very attractive. They are thriving in business. So I think it's something that we'll need to debate about. I'm being informed that even PricewaterhouseCoopers were giving the same comment, that people want the same comment as Senator Onyonka here, that people want free space. We know they do. But with shrinking spaces, we think it's going to be a very big challenge. Thank you, Chair.
If you're complaining of lack of space in Kajiado and we are all going to Kajiado, I don't know what we are supposed to say in Nairobi, but Governor, your point is taken. Colleagues and members of the committee and Governor, we are running out of time. It's already 2 o'clock. We want to give some directions on the remaining issue. Auditor General, if you indulge us in the interest of time. There are some issues on the financial statements. We have said on the question of the projects, we'll deal with them together. And we will be making recommendations, specific recommendations at the report writing stage, although we have given certain directions on specific projects. So there is the question of ownership records, Governor. Lack of ownership records for assets that you inherited from the defunct local authority. We have had that conversation with you in the previous financial year. I think we need timelines on when this process can be complete, Governor. Because you cannot be speaking of failure to have ownership records of county assets at this particular point in time. And it is connected to issue number 3.2 on lack of an updated assets register. But as CEC, we had that conversation with you in the previous financial year. We need to agree on a timeline when all these matters will be concluded, including the updated assets register. Undisclosed biological assets, I don't know why you would not disclose that you have cows. That is very strange. In the financial statements, and Governor, you have confirmed that you don't have capacity challenges in your finance office. So they know the standard, they know the requirement for disclosure and the standards for disclosure. Long outstanding account receivables, uncollected land rent, rates and royalties. Governor, what is the plan on this? You need to provide measures that you have put in place to collect these monies for the people of Kajiado. Is there such a plan?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. I had given a comment on this earlier,
Yes.
that part of what we are doing to address this is, first of all, to go 100% full automation. We want to make it easy for people to pay their land rates at the comfort of their working spaces. We are finalizing our valuation role for people to understand what they are supposed to pay. But we have a very big challenge that we brought to the Senate chairman that I feel the Senate needs to be seized of. Part of our debt collection crisis is occasioned by Magadi Soda. Magadi Soda owes the county 12 billion. They lost the case in court. They continue not to comply with the law. And I remember in one of our Senate sessions, Senate said they will take it up. They'll take up action because there is nobody above the law. It is the only company in this country that does not pay taxes. It does not pay for water. It operates as if like in a vacuum. They owe the county close to 12 billion.
So this entire amount is just Magadi Soda?
Substantial.
Because I can see the amount is 12 billion here.
Literally, there is an additional about 1 billion, which we engage a debt collector to work with that. But that does not have a crisis because it is not about wrongness or illegal compliance. It's possibly about somebody closing business or closing shop for this difficult time, or sometimes in county inefficiencies here and there. But really the bulk of that money is Magadi Soda.
Okay.
Sorry? 10.5. Yeah, Magadi is 10.5 billion. So out of that...
Out of the 12 billion, that is 10.5 is Magadi.
Yes.
Very well.
Chair,
yes.
I just wanted to bring that to him because he is the prosecuting senator from your place. What do you think, Senator?
I think I think the request from the governor is it's valid, and we need to, as a committee, Chair, you need to take up that matter. That we need also to call Magadi to explain as to why they are not paying these loyalties. Otherwise, that is probably your mandate as a chair to give direction on this.
Very well. I heard the governor say the matter was concluded in court. There are no appeals.
Well, the court asked us to go for arbitration, having ruled that the county had a right to charge the levies. Or then
what happened at arbitration?
When we went to arbitration at the Ministry of Mining, they abandoned arbitration. So they refused to participate.
Have you reported back to the court that the arbitration has collapsed?
Yes, they are trying to go now to the appeal, but there are some things that are straightforward. Besides the contested land rates, they owe money in many other small other taxes that they are supposed to pay and levies.
Yes, the handicap, Governor, is usually when the matter is still active in court, it is very difficult for us as a Senate to interfere or to begin any processes if the matter is still in court. So, members, subject to confirmation of the status of the court cases, Senator Lenku. we might not get into that
it is
realm
true. That
if
is
indeed there are still
Yeah.
pending matters. But we will confirm independently as a committee if indeed the court matters have been concluded. We can also have a conversation with them as a Senate. But Governor, there are ways to enforce court decisions. Yeah, and I know Magadi very well, and I know the dispute with the community. I have seen the community enforcing court orders before. I'm not saying anything, but I have seen it.
You have already said it. Thank you very much for your guidance, Chairman.
No, that is not official guidance. I'm just saying. So we will have to look at the status of the litigation, and if in fact a conversation with them would be helpful, because a party who abandons an arbitration, which is a formal process to resolve cases, is not indicative of goodwill.
Maybe, Chair, if I can just ask, is there a fresh case within Magadi now in the Court of Appeal, or with the county, or it's just within the ministry?
There are so many cases with Magadi.
In regards to this matter?
You know, recently we tried to force them to pay some of the uncontested levies, and they just went to court to get an injunction. So Magadi has many things they are playing with us. In fact, including the current contract they are operating in had expired in 2023, which is last year. But in 2000, they purport to have had their lease extended by another 50 years, which is a different story altogether. So the Magadi story, I would ask Mr. Chairman that we don't leave it just because they had gone to court on one front. They have many other areas that they are not complying with the law. So now they have a myriad of court cases with the county to try and avoid.
Governor, there is a matter there that is almost related. Do you have a county attorney?
We do, Mr. Chairman.
Where is he or she?
He's not in this session today, but we have a county attorney office.
Okay, the issue number 5 there on page 4 of the Auditor General's report on unsupported legal expenses, the accusation is that the management engaged various legal practitioners to preside over various cases in the year under review and previous years without the involvement of the county attorney. You have seen that query by the Auditor General on unsupported legal expenses. Legal expenses are the easiest to support, Governor, because you have a case, you have a requisition for a supplier, you have court documents, you have all those things. How is it possible that 142 million cannot be supported on legal expenses? And what is your response on involvement of the county attorney on these cases? Probably this is why even the case with Magadi's order is not moving. What is your response formally so that we conclude with that issue?
Chair, I don't know what. You know, you are making a general conversation, so I'm at loss whether to read our management comment, but it's such a long comment. Yes.
Just tell us if you have a county attorney and why the auditor queried that he was not involved and that you have not supported the expenditure on legal fees.
Thank you, Chair. On this matter, you raise the matter on, because there's so many, there is a whole write-up, but you raise the one of 142 million.
Yes.
100 million out of the 142 was, and we have actually indicated in our management response, page 9.
Yes.
Page 9, 100 was to pay for a matter with one of the hotel in Amboseli, Oltukai, Amboseli Lodge. A case in court that has been there for the longest time because it started at the county council's time. So we had some arbitration that were guided through the state law office, and we had an agreement, and 100 million was part of the payment that we were.
This was a settlement.
Yes,
not legal fees.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a settlement, and then the rest are the matters, and we have managed to indicate in each for the other 42. The question on how the attorney is involved.
Yes.
Is that At the beginning of the year, we do the pre-qualification of for that particular service, and where pre-qualification list for all the firms that are going to be able to participate in that process is listed. Then the attorney is able to do the instruction and whenever matters arise where county require legal services. And then the schedule of payments are also done through the office of the attorney. So the attorney is quite involved in the process of this payment for legal services, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Onyonka.
My brother, Mr. Kisota, you are really embarrassing my governor, who's my friend. These things, you would have done them before you come here. What you have explained, you see, the Auditor General is saying, in the circumstances, the accuracy and regularity of the legal fee expenditure amounting to 142 million could not be confirmed. What you are telling us is confirmable. Why don't you give them the documents?
What was the issue during the audit, Governor, that this information was not availed to?
Yes, why?
So that we don't waste too much time.
I think, Chair, why don't you allow us just to provide the documentation as
exactly
as is supposed to be there? I think it should not be something very difficult to do.
Very well.
Thank you.
Now, Auditor General, is there any other matter you want us to touch on, or I can bring this meeting to a close? We will take the written responses on all the remaining matters. We have provided timeframes for actions that we have directed to be taken. George, I'm sure you've noted. Including this one, the last one, Governor. How long do you need to provide these documents if the Auditor General has not seen them yet? Auditor, do you have them?
They were provided for this particular session.
So you can go through them and then give us an understanding of whether the query has been resolved or not.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So, members, we are going to take some closing remarks. And we want to start with, who do we start with? We start with you, OAG? Yes. Or we start with COB, who has not said anything. Let's start with the control of budget. We come to Treasury. They have not said anything so far, or is it because we didn't ask you any questions?
Thank you, Chair. From the observations, the auditors have raised some weighty issues, and hope the recommendations will be actioned. My general observation was about the general fuel cards. I don't know why the use of general fuel cards. And in the response, there was a mention of depreciation. So I was wondering whether you have moved from the cash basis to the accrual basis. Then on the realization of the OSR, I've heard His Excellency the Governor stating the measures to be for the collection, which is commendable. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Nancy. Dr. Munywa.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Well, in my observation, when I looked at the audit queries raised, there were a number of accounting errors that the county government has since corrected. This can be avoided if you just strengthen the internal check system, the internal control, so that the internal auditor is doing his work or her work. That is one. Number two, and the final one, Chair, is my concern on the cost incurred by the county government in building this market, and then the traders move or prefer an informal setup. A market, if these people could move to the market, this would increase their own source revenue very much, and it would help the county government even in solving the one-hand issue. But now, when they don't use it, it's like the county loses twice. I think, Chair, the trick is strengthening the public participation. And one observation that has been made by researchers is that public participation chair, sometimes wrong people are involved in public participation. And those are the incidences where now you find that a market like that one has been constructed, but the people who are involved in the public participation are not actually the right people. So that you find the right people just move to an area of their choice. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Daktari. Let's hear from the Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. One, I must register the fact that since we were here with the Governor a few weeks back, or maybe 2 months back, there has been a significant change in terms of how they have approached issues audit, and I think that has gone a long way in ensuring that we resolve a number of these issues. Most important, the Governor is now involved in audit issues, unlike before, and we appreciate that. Yeah, he's participated in person, his team and my team, and through that we were able to resolve a lot of issues. Secondly, I indeed pointed out to the Governor that Kajiado is a sleeping giant. It should be able to hit about 1.5 to 2 billion in terms of own source revenue. So it is also good that is indicated that is instituted measures to ensure that maybe they can now collect more revenue through automation and so forth. We would want to go and check in the next cycle of audit if all that he has said here has been put to practice. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Governor, let's hear your closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Let me say that first of all, on the question of cash and accrual accounting, the accrual accounting is yet to be fully rolled, so we are still on the cash accounting. We are excited that we are heading there. We think it will be very helpful going forward. Chair, I also want to confirm that really a number of queries and documents that were missing should not have reached here. And therefore, we have taken note of the need to further ensure that really what should not get to this level will not get to this level. And I will continue to personally get involved as the Auditor General have indicated. And we have taken a lot of notes on the conversations we have had. We are very concerned about the national government mandate projects, because while the communities are very desperate, we also understand fully